Hello and welcome. I am certified Calling in the One coach, Jennifer Zundel, and I support singles to identify and release the hidden inner obstacles that have been keeping love away so that you can become magnetic to love and finally manifest your person. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I'm also super excited to be doing a coach-a-thon today. We're going to be answering some questions, at least I'm going to be answering some questions that have come to me recently in our group. And I'm going to be sharing them with you because I think that they can help you too. I chose some of the most popular questions that have been coming in that I think are really going to support our group. Many of our group probably are dealing with similar things. And so I've chosen the questions that are really going to support the group as a whole, I think. And so I'm really excited to be here with you today. Before I jump into responding to these questions, sharing with you my take on these questions and how these people might change their love life and their situation, which is going to help you too, I also want to just remind you that I support singles all the time in my coaching to do these exact same things that I'm going to be sharing with you in our session today. I support you to see your blind spots. I support you to see what's been in the way that you haven't been able to see on your own yet. I support you to see how you can shift where your energy is coming from, where you're centered, so that you can show up magnetic to the love that you desire. And I support you also to see what you can actually do differently, what new choices you can make, what new actions you can take, how you can say things differently, how you can show up and do things differently to change your situation. And that's exactly what I support people with in my coaching, where I can support you to go from being single with no potentials in front of you, no one's asking you out, no one that you're interested in. And instead, I can support you to create radical, amazing, epic love and even get engaged, even within the next year, even if you have no possibilities for anything like that happening in your love life right now. And it feels like the furthest thing that would happen for you. I can help you do that. So do let me know if you want to talk with me about that. If you want to set up a love consultation, I will be putting my link in the comments box below where you can book a consultation with me. And as well, I am going to be answering questions today in our first Coach-a-thon video here with me. And if I'm talking here and you realize that you have a question that I could support you with, put it in the comments box below because I'm going to be scanning the comments that are coming in. And if you have a question, I'm going to do my best to see what I can answer for you here on the call, or maybe I'll just be responding with you in the comments. So even if you're watching the replay later, still put your questions in the comments box below because I am going to be monitoring those comments and coming back and interacting with you in the comments. And I will be answering questions that way too. So do just let me know how I can support you. I'm here to support you today. This is about you having a breakthrough in your love life. And that's what I want to help you with. So let's jump in because I've chosen some really great questions to talk about today. All right. So I'm going to read you the first question. The first question says, all guys seem to be into first date hikes. Why? That's too much time with someone I don't know yet. Like, people don't have anything better to do with their lives. What if the guy is boring as fuck? Then coffee dates are horrible dates too, because I literally get PTSD if I have to sit and listen to a guy I dislike. One time I went on a date and I was so bored that I literally ran away like Forrest Gump and I never looked back. What are some instant dates? Ideally 10-minute dates. Am I asking too much? All right. So I have a lot to say about this. A lot. Actually, I always have a lot to say about lots of things, which means that this is going to really help you. All right, because I think that there are several things going on that need to be addressed in this question. There's lots going on. All right, so the first thing that this person says that guys always seem to want first date hikes, go on hikes for their first dates, and that's too much time with someone that you don't know yet. I agree. That is too much time with someone that you don't know yet, because that's at least a few hours with someone that you have never met. That's too much time. I would not do a hike on a first date. Not only that, but you don't know this person yet. They could be a stalker, they could be abusive, they could be someone like Ted Bundy, who is a charmer, but then once you get them alone, they don't have good intentions. No, it's just a solid no, not happening. Okay. So if a guy wants to go on a hike for the first date, I would respond something like, that sounds amazing. I love hikes, or I would love to do that with you at some point. However, I think what we should just start with something more low key, like maybe a walk around the lake at the park, and then choose a park that's very popular and in a public place during the daytime, right? Because a first date needs to be happening in public. A first date should not be at your home. It should not be in the middle of the forest, in the woods, on a path alone. You should not be getting in someone's car on the first date. First dates need to be low key and they need to be in a public place. And so a walk around the park is perfect for that. Now, I would also be careful about how you turn down this invitation for a hike, though, right? You don't want to just say, no, I don't want to do that. You need to be mindful of how you turn this down by saying something like, that sounds really fun. I could totally see us doing something like that. If we click after we meet, let's have a low key first initial meeting, like a walk around the park, right? So you're not turning him down. You're just letting him know what you're available for at this point. Okay, so let's move on to these other questions that this person has. So then the person says, what if the guy is boring as fuck? The coffee dates are horrible dates because I literally get PTSD if I have to sit and listen to a guy I dislike. One time I went on a date and I was so bored that I literally ran away like Forrest Gump and never looked back. Well, okay, this person has a sense of humor. Good. I like that. Actually, I like a sense of humor. But I will say, because this person, wants 10-minute dates, and are they asking too much? So I have two things to say about that. So on the one hand, yeah, you're asking too much, actually. You need to learn how to enjoy getting to know someone. And yes, there are going to be some people that you leave a date and you're like, I'm done. I was enough for me. I don't need a second date. I got everything I needed. And I connected with another person. I'm good. All right. Now, at the same time, I think that a lot of singles have lost their ability to connect. It's a problem for a lot. I would say, like, not just singles, but our society in general, with texting, with scrolling internet all day long, with the our fast-paced information that's always coming at us. We have lost the ability to connect with another human being. We've lost the ability to slow things way down and to just enjoy a cup of tea and have a conversation and get to know someone who's different than us. And this is a skill that we need to rebuild, especially if you want to meet your person. Now, if you don't want to meet your person and you're fine just always being alone, maybe having a few friends that you see and you hang out with every now and then, that maybe you even have some good friends here and there. If you're fine with that life and you're not looking for a soulmate and you're not wanting to date, then you don't need to learn this skill of connection. Then you don't need to learn how to meet strangers. You don't need to learn how to have conversations that feel sometimes like they're on the surface when you want to go deeper. And you don't need to learn how to have a deeper conversation with someone that feels kind of surface right now. If you're happy with your life exactly as it is, and you don't need anything to change, and you don't want to manifest a soulmate, then I'm not talking to you right now. If you do want to manifest a soulmate, if you do want more meaningful connections in your life, if you do want to create more connections and feel comfortable meeting new people, then you actually need to grow some skills here. And what that is the skill of creating connection, the skill of learning how to have what people call small talk. And I know a lot of people hate that term small talk. And so I want to invite you to reframe the idea of small talk and learn how to go deeper rather than just having it being surface conversations, how to go deeper and create meaningful conversations. See, I'm guessing here that if you're bored on the date, my question for you is how are you not creating inspiration on that date yourself? How are you boring yourself? I'm sorry to say it. I'm saying it with love. But that date can only be as exciting as you are. That date cannot be more exciting than you are. And so, what are you contributing to that date going well? What are you contributing to meaningful conversation? What are you contributing to authentic connection that's actually inspiring and exciting and opens up the conversation even deeper? What are you contributing to that person feeling more connected to you? Because based on what you're saying here, I'm imagining, sorry to say it, but I'm imagining that you're not contributing much. If you are happy with a 10-minute date, then you have some skills to learn here. That's on you. That's on you. That's not on your dates. It's not your date's job to entertain you. Said with love. And I know that this is not just you having this problem. I think it's probably the majority of singles right now, and probably the majority of most people right now, actually, that people have forgotten how to connect. So this is a skill to rebuild where you go into a date, and I want to invite you on your next 5 dates. I want you to go into that date saying, I am going to go in and learn who this person is, even if they're not my person. It doesn't matter if they're not my person. I'm going to go in and learn what they're excited about, and I'm going to go in and learn what lights them up and what is meaningful to them and what matters to them. That's what I want to find out about. And especially if it's different than what I'm interested in, I want to learn why they're so excited about that. And I want to go deeper on that. And I want to ask questions that really inspire someone to share even more authentically with me. Because here's the thing that I know. Everybody has an interesting story. Everybody has something that lights them up. Everybody has something in their life that matters to them. And it's up to you to bring that out. Yes, they may have better connection skills, less better connection skills. It may be easier for them to connect or less easy for them to connect. They might be nervous. They might not be showing up at their best on a first date. These are all normal things. But what if you went into that date saying, I'm going to be the one here. It's my job as the leader here in this connection. I'm inviting you here to be the leader of love in your relationships, that it's on you to be the one to make sure that this is an exciting interaction. And I promise you that when you do that, you're going to be much more interested in your partner. You're going to be much more feeling connected to your partner. You're going to be feeling much more alive with the interaction. All right. So that's where I would start. I actually have a whole lot more to say about this, but I also want to get to some other questions here. And before I move on, though, I do want to address your question about what are some instant dates. Now, again, my mind's in one of those exploding moments, which happens to me all the time, by the way. If you do coaching with me, if you ask me a question, I'm going to have 10 answers for you. So like we have to be careful because I'm going to give you so much that then you're going to leave and like have all these ideas about how you can change your love life. Because I'm getting one of those downloads right now about all the ways that you can meet someone quickly and easily and have these instant dates like you're talking about. So instant dates, obviously there's something like speed dating, right? That's great. There's lots of 10-minute connections right there. And there are lots of ways to get involved with things like that. And I oftentimes give my clients what I call communication challenges, communication games, where you go out, I send you out into the world to connect with people and to meet people in the real world and get to know them and create connections. And these don't have to be long connections. It could be a 5-minute conversation where I assign you a task to do that week. For example, maybe I assign you the task to go out and meet 4 people that week. And I might call these like age appropriate men, for example, if you're wanting to date men, find 4 age appropriate men. So, what that means by age appropriate is maybe 10 years younger than you, 10 years older than you, and you're going to create connections with those 4 age appropriate men. Now, obviously, these aren't going to be teenagers, right? They're going to be like in an age range. And you're just going to look at them and say, yeah, they look in my age range, 10 years younger, 10 years older. Those are the people that are in your dating age range. And obviously they're not a grandfather because it's going to be easier for you because you don't feel the charge, you don't feel the big difficulty of having a conversation with a teenager or a grandfather, probably, right? It's going to bring up a lot more anxiety for you to talk to someone who's your age range. And so I want you to go out and find 4 age appropriate men this week, learn their name, share your name, learn something personal about them, and share something personal about yourself. Right? This could happen in 5 minutes. It could be someone at the grocery store and you ask him for help to get something off of a high shelf and you say, thank you so much. I mean, I often find it really difficult to get things off the shelf. You really helped me and made my day better. By the way, my name's Jennifer. What's your name? Oh, and I really love that shirt that you're wearing. You know, I am looking for something like that for my father. It's his birthday next week. Where do you get your clothes? I mean, maybe you share something like this and you share something about yourself. Maybe you share something like, I hate shopping myself. I'm not really good at shopping. I don't know if you can relate to that. So you're just kind of chatting with this person. You're just starting up a conversation. Now, that's basically a 10-minute instant date. That's probably actually a 5-minute date. And if it goes well, maybe you exchange information with this person so that then you're connected, right? So there are lots of ways to meet people. And if you feel challenged if that feels like a challenge for you to meet someone in that way out in the world, what that means is you're centered in your false love identity. And I need to support you to get into your true love identity. That's what I can support you with in coaching as well, right? Where I'm going to support you to really show up knowing your value, knowing the truth of who you are and what's possible for you and how partners feel about you. That's what's going to give you the confidence to approach people out in the world this way. That's what's going to give you the confidence to really be available to meet new people. And so this is my short answer because I probably could spend like another hour just addressing this one question. But I do want to move on to some of the other questions that were sent in. All right. So I hope that was helpful. If that helped any of you who are listening on the call here, please let me know. If you have any follow-up questions to this, what I shared here, please let me know. All right. So I want to move on to another question that was sent in. All right. So I have another question that was sent in. And this one is more vulnerable. This one's a more vulnerable share. So I want to read you what she sent in. She says, I pick broken men because I'm broken. And both of us appear to have PTSD from childhood. And when I asked her, because she filled out my questions, which I asked people to do so that I could have a little bit of background information and help you better. So I asked her in the questionnaire what she thinks might be her part in contributing to this. And she says that she also has PTSD, drug and alcohol abuse, and self-medicating and not healing from past love connections, miscommunications, affairs. And it's unclear, because she says affairs them. So I'm not sure whether that's them having affairs or if somehow that's related to the next thing that she says, which is money problems. So and then she goes on to say that she doesn't have much experience living with a man and she's been single most of her life. And her longest relationship has been 6 most have been 6 weeks, but there's been a longest one of 4 years. So most between 6 weeks to 4 years. So that's what she sees as her part in contributing to this dynamic. And then she says, but this last relationship, so she's currently going through a breakup. And this last relationship, I cannot let go. I can't stop crying and I can't give it up. I understand what's going on. I can't understand what's going on with me or us. He has been with other women because he thinks we're split up. And I know that we are, but I don't feel that way. And it's just embarrassing. Okay. Now, first of all, I want to say that what you're dealing with here, a lot of people can relate to. A lot of people can relate to when you're going through a breakup, that it's a very tender experience and it's very traumatizing, especially if you really saw that as possibly your person. And it's also very normal that one of you feels further ahead in the breakup than the other one. You know, it sounds like he's possibly moved on and is seeing other people, and you're still in the middle of the breakup and feeling like you want to be together. And I also want to name here that it's also typical, not all the time, but typical, that men go through a breakup differently than women do. And so it's quite normal that a man is going to jump into something else quite soon. And before he's really processed the breakup, he hasn't dealt with his feelings. He hasn't dealt with anything that's going on internally. He hasn't addressed any of the inner things that are being triggered. He's just jumping right in as his way to kind of put a band-aid over what's happening and say, I'm good, I'm moving on. Now, that's not healthy. It is what a lot of men do, though. And yet, what a lot of women do is they tend to want to look at all the emotions that are coming up. They tend to get into the emotional soup of what's happening. And so it sounds like that's your situation, that he's moved on and you're still in the emotional soup of it. And it's very normal. So, what I want to first of all say here is I want to normalize this for you. And especially since you do have a history of some drug and alcohol abuse, I also want to name here for you that what you're experiencing right now is very similar to withdrawal from drugs or stimulants and alcohol. Because when you're experiencing a breakup, the withdrawal of the relationship is causing the same chemical imbalance that happens when you're withdrawing from drugs and alcohol. It's the same chemicals in the body that are being activated. And that's why you feel the way that you do. And so I'm imagining that what you're experiencing might actually feel a lot like drug withdrawal when you're going through withdrawal and you're taking away those stimulants and you're trying to heal from those stimulants. And so what you're experiencing is normal, that these chemicals are getting activated. And the reason that those chemicals are getting activated is because when we're in a relationship with someone, the closeness of that person regulates our own nervous system. We can count on them in some way, even if it's just, that we're going to hear their voice or something, or we're going to see them, or we're going to be next to them. And even if there's challenges in the relationship and it's not the relationship that we want, just having that interaction somehow calms our nervous system down in some way because we know what to expect. It's the same, like our expectations are kind of managed, and then we can calm that down, because when we don't know what to expect, for example, when that's taken away, when that person is taken away, now your system is in fight, flight, or freeze mode because you don't know what's next. You don't know what to expect. That thing that was regulating your system is now gone. And so you don't know what to expect. And it's like, oh my gosh, what's this? I don't know what to do. When am I going to feel this again? When am I going to feel that again? How do I calm down? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And it's quite overwhelming. And so I want to normalize what you're experiencing here as very normal when someone's going through a breakup. And so I want to also say that, so here, the question that you asked me, so there's a part in the form that you filled out where I said, please let me know what your question is so I can help you. Now, you said that your question is opening communication. I cannot have a new relationship if I'm unable to communicate clearly and hear what they're saying to me. I think he's lying. I guess I've lost my mind. So you didn't actually ask me a question. So I'm going to try to read into this and imagine what your question is, because you didn't actually ask me a question. By the way, when you do coaching with me, I am really good at knowing if you've answered my questions or not, because a lot of clients, they're talking, I ask them a direct question, and they're talking around it in circles, and they kind of wander off somewhere into the forest by themselves. And I'm really good at pulling you back to say, okay, and here's my question. Let's look at this. And I'm really good at understanding if you've really answered my question and heard my question. And if you haven't, I'm going to keep pulling you back until we get an answer to my question and go deeper on that. So, anyway, coming back to you here, it sounds like you want to know how to have better communication. How do you want to have better communication, especially when you don't know how to communicate clearly and you can't hear what's being said to you, and you're always doubting if he is being honest with you. And that makes you doubt whether you can trust yourself, whether you can trust them. That's what I'm hearing. How do I learn to communicate clearly? And you didn't say this, but I'm going to also add in here that I also hear another question here. Because if I were with you, I would actually be asking you a lot of questions that I'm not able to ask you since I'm not talking with you. But I hear as well here that you want to know not only how can I communicate clearly with someone, but how can I restore my trust with myself to choose better? And how can I learn to trust men and find out if he's trustworthy or not trustworthy? How can I do that? Did I name that for you? Let me know in the comments below if I actually named what you're asking here. So here's what I want to say as well, that you're going through a difficult time. And no matter who is watching this, everybody who's watching this in some way is going through a challenge in their life about something. All of us have areas of our life that are a bit messy still, areas of our lives where we're working on things, areas of our lives where we still need to grow and step into the next phase where we can up level our lives and do things better. And so again, I want to normalize this for you, even though it feels really bad what you're going through right now. Everybody here in my group, everybody here on the call is feeling a challenge in some way. And so the person who wrote this is just your specific challenge, right, that you're dealing with. And what I'm hearing is that there are some things that you need to learn. And so let's name what those things are so that you can be mindful of how to set out to learn these things. Because that's the good news here. All that's going on is that you need to learn some new skills so that you can learn to do things better going forwards. So one is you need to learn how to have open and honest communication. You need to learn how to communicate clearly. You need to learn how to listen to the other person and how to ask appropriate questions and how to understand and read people so that you can read if they're being honest, if they're not being honest. There are ways to actually know that just by learning how to ask the right questions, learning how to read body language, how to read facial expressions, how to read someone's tone of voice, how to read their energy. These are all things that I support people with. Now, I also want to say, as we're naming all these things that you can learn here, one thing that you need is you need to repair the relationship with yourself. Now, I like that you named when I asked you what you think your part might be here, is that you named that you haven't healed from your own past love connections. That's one of the places to start. But before you can even heal the past love connections that you've had with other people, you actually need to heal the connection with yourself. You need to repair the relationship with yourself first. You need to restore trust with yourself first and create connection with yourself first. And then once you do that, then the next level is to start to learn how to connect and repair relationships with other people and heal those past connections, heal those past childhood traumas that you've been carrying around your entire life. Now, I'm going to give you a quick practice here. I'm going to give you a very quick practice. And so I'm going to invite you into the practice with me where we're going to connect with this inner self because I said that that's the first place to start. So let's have you close your eyes here for a minute and take a deep breath and let it out. Breathing as if you could breathe all the way down to your hips and down to your feet. And just letting your body relax. Stepping back from your thoughts, stepping back from all of the questions that you have about your situation, and instead putting your attention on your body, noticing all of the feelings and sensations that are there, getting connected with your own internal space right now. And let's imagine that there's another part of you that's sitting next to you. And that other part of you is the part of you that is feeling all the upset from the breakup. And imagine that you right now are a kind, compassionate presence, your higher self. Imagine that you are your higher self and you're the wiser, powerful self who knows how to support this other person who needs your support. So turn towards this other self who's feeling the upset and extend a sense of care and compassion towards that other self and ask her, what are you feeling right now? Letting her name the feeling. I'm feeling, for example, I'm feeling distraught. And then mirror back to her. I can see that you're feeling distraught. And what else are you feeling? And listen for your body to name what you're feeling. I'm feeling just the emotions. That's all we're looking for here. One at a time, name the emotion. I'm feeling. And then coming back to your higher self to mirror back. I can see that you're feeling and naming that emotion. And what else are you feeling? Doing this at least 3 times. And now on the next in breath, I want you to imagine that you could breathe in one of those emotions right into your heart. Let's say, for example, distraught. Breathe it right into your heart and let it transform in your heart so that you're turning towards and welcoming in this emotion rather than trying to get away from it. And on the out breath, imagine that you could float above the world and see everybody in the world right now who feels this exact same way for the exact same reason. And so imagine on the out breath that you could breathe out a feeling a blessing, that you could breathe out a blessing to everybody in the world who feels distraught in this same moment, including yourself in that blessing. And then move on and do the same thing with the next emotion that you named, breathing it into your heart, letting it transform. And on the out breath, breathing out a blessing to everybody in the world who feels that same feeling, including yourself in that blessing. And now coming back to this person, this other self sitting next to you. And again, extending your compassion and you're listening to her, and ask her, what do you need right now, sweetheart? What do you need? And again, listen for her answer and name the need. I need. For example, I need someone to care about me. And then mirror back to her. Yes, I can see that you need someone to care about you. Of course, you need that. And what else do you need? Doing this at least 3 times. What do you need? I need. I can see that you need. And what else do you need? And so, continuing to extend your care and your compassion to her, letting her know that you are here for her. She can count on you. You're not leaving. And you can come back at any time that she needs you. And so now doing whatever you need to do to complete this interaction and come back to the call here with me. Opening your eyes. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know in the comments below if that was helpful. And this is a powerful practice. I would encourage you, especially if you are feeling very emotional, going through a breakup, or something is causing you to feel triggered and traumatized. This is a perfect practice to help you with that. All right. And there's a lot more that I have to offer. This is what I have today, though. I'm going to come back very soon and do another coach-a-thon in our group because there were several more good questions that were submitted. And I also want to remind you that these are the exact things that I support people with in coaching. If you feel like I could support you in transforming your love life and really opening up possibility for you, this is exactly what I support people with in my Single to Engaged coaching program. It's a year-long coaching program where we meet every week for an hour on Zoom. And I support you to radically shift the inner love blocks that have been sabotaging your love life so that you're an open channel, ready to manifest. Then manifesting practices actually work. And if you haven't been getting good results with your manifesting practices, this is why, because you've got some inner love blocks that we need to clear out and work on and remove. And that's what I can help you with. And then I also support people to identify what I call 4 soulmate indicators. And what those are is there are 4 areas that you need to have clarity on so that you know who to invest your time and your heart and your energy with, because it's very possible that you're getting invested and into relationships with people that aren't a good match. And then when they don't work out, you get really traumatized and you feel very upset, and a lot of anxiety comes up. But it's clear, if we had just talked first, it's very clear that they weren't a good match to begin with. And so we have to really have clarity about who to invest your time and your heart and your energy with. and how to have conversations. Like I was telling this woman a minute ago who's going through a breakup, that you have to know how to ask the right questions to evaluate if someone is a good match and if they're being honest with you. And that's part of identifying your four soulmate indicators and how to evaluate your partners. All right. Then I can also help you create a standout online dating profile that will magnetize great potential matches. And if you haven't been having good luck with online dating, I promise you that your online dating profile is part of the problem and it needs work. And then I also can support you to learn the relationship skills, to learn the connection skills. Like I was talking with the first question that I was addressing, the person who wants 10-minute dates. She needs to learn how to connect better. And that's what I can support you with as well in coaching, so that you learn the skills of creating true, authentic relatedness and connection, so that people feel like they know you and they want to know you better. Or, like I was saying, how to go out into the world and meet people. These are all things that I support people with in my Single to Engage coaching program. And I would love to talk with you and have you be my next success story. So do let me know if you would like to talk with me about a consultation. I'm going to be putting my link in the comments box below where you can book a call with me and we can talk about how I can support you to go from single to engaged this year. And the investment, by the way, to work with me for a year in this container, 1 year of coaching, is $8,000, or you can do a monthly payment plan of $700 a month. And I would love to support you. That's all I have for tonight, but I will be back here with you very soon. Bye for now.